Listen up.
Welcome to the PowerShell Podcast, the podcast for PowerShell and the PowerShell community. And now, here's your host, Andrew Plaw.
Wowie, what a great day. What a great time to learn PowerShell. 2026 is the year that you learn PowerShell. Welcome to another episode of the PowerShell Podcast. I'm your host, Andrew Plaw, at Andrew Plaw Tech. Tara, get in here. This is my friend Tara, coworker, technically, long time. Tara, you're on your PowerShell journey this year, and it's official now that you're on the PowerShell Podcast. Welcome. How are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you doing? We're friends. How dare you say we're not friends?
Did I say we're not friends? Oh, we're both.
We say coworker.
Well, I want them to know, yes, we are friends. We also do work together, just so you know, because I think they might have seen us in the same room, and they're like, what? During work hours? What are they doing? Yeah, we're working. That's what we're doing. And you've been in IT for a very long time. What has been your impression of PowerShell kind of up until now? I know you've used it here and there because you kind of have to for some 365 things, but what's been your impression?
I've hated it.
What do you hate about it?
Well, I've always been a GUI girl, right? I've described myself that way. Like I've figured out how to do everything I need to do in the GUI. And PowerShell has been scary, and I'm like, I don't want to go there. I don't want to go there. But I've realized last week and then today that as my understanding of PowerShell has increased, so has my understanding of IT exponentially, which is astounding. It shouldn't be. That should not be just such a game changer for me this far into my IT career, but it is. Surprisingly so, Andrew.
I think it is maybe surprising, but I think it's also common. Like it's one of those things where it's like, once you go through it, you're like, oh, it was that way the whole time. I was in the same boat where I was like, oh, that stuff never needed to do it. If you can solve your problem now, I mean, that's kind of what they pay you for, right? You don't need to go figure out all this other stuff. And there's no guarantee that it actually leads to anything unless you know that it does. But now you're on your path. You've kind of connected a couple dots. We've been doing PowerShell Wednesdays together. I think every other week or so. We have one at the time this is live. You can check it out. It'll be in the show notes. Wow, it was really great, PowerShell Wednesday. But we've been doing those to kind of keep track of things. You've been doing it for you've been in PowerShell for maybe a month and a half-ish. Does that sound about right?
Yes. Well, you know me. This is technically day 14, but I do it only on work days.
Okay.
So, yeah.
We have a 4-day work week, so.
Yes.
Okay. So yeah, handful of weeks, and you've been asking good questions, and you practice regularly. I mean, we'll come back to that later. That's a key part of learning a language and not just being perpetually confused. You got to start chipping away at this because they are confusing concepts. But as you do, and as you're seeing, not only can you solve your problems better, you can have a better understanding of what you're dealing with. You can have the opportunity to really interact with these things, not just in the way that the store gives it to you. It's like, okay, here's the little package. Here's your box. You can click here, here, and here. You can't click anywhere else. But PowerShell gives you that ability to dive in and check all the properties that they don't want you to see and all that kind of stuff. So congrats on that. So far, though, what's been the hardest thing to wrap your head around?
Well, I would say I would add to what you just said, understanding those concepts on a deeper level, actually, because PowerShell has kind of given that to me. That's what those actually are. So those processes actually is what I was going to add to that. But first, I want to introduce you to someone, Andrew. Can I?
Oh, sure.
This is Amy.
Oh. Amy is a box with cards in it. What is this for the listeners out there?
Well, your wife is correct. These are my flashcards. Yes, they're flashcards.
What does it say on it? What's the example flashcard you got here?
This one says objects have two types, properties and methods. This was actually got me a little confused today because everything's an object. So I got a little bit confused this morning, but so I was like, are there only service objects? Are there only property objects? And the answer is no, there's a crap load of objects. So I was like, I'm going to put that aside for later because I got a little bit confused by that. Because PowerShell is an object-oriented language, right? And then I realized I can just type get process, get member, and find out all the members of a get process type object, or get services get member and find out all the members of a get service type object. And then on I go, and then my brain exploded, and I was like, I'm going to throw that card away. That was just too much for my brain to kind of handle. So I decided I need to go get a little bit more basic. So then I went back to get service. Get service will return all service objects on a machine in a nice little table for me. So I just started writing down things that my brain can actually handle today. Because sometimes I think you and other higher level PowerShell people talk at a much higher level than I can handle right now. And then I think I would quit. So I'm like, I don't even know what you're talking about. So I need to dumb it down a little bit for me.
I think you're not alone in that. And that's been one of the cool things to see, because I don't want PowerShell to be the type of thing where you can only get into it if you're ready to geek out 20 hours a day for the rest of, 6 months. You can get really proficient and then be able to understand all the stuff we talk about. To me, that's kind of gatekeepy. And I want to make sure that I'm being aware, maybe a challenge to other people who've been doing PowerShell for a while. Are we doing things in a way that's approachable? Do we always need to explain every single thing? Do we need to hold people to the highest standard of code? I see a lot of people not doing that. A lot of people saying, hey, working code is working code. Where you are right now is really good. But still, if we're having a conversation about the subtleties of the abstract syntax tree, it's going to be a little off-putting, because that's like day 300 of learning PowerShell every day.
Yeah, but get process, I can understand that it's going to tell me the processes that are currently running on the machine in a cute little table. Okay, yeah, I can understand that, right? So I'm going to keep that card. That makes sense to me, right? So what I did is I have little lessons that I run every day. ChatGPT gives me little lessons and I practice. And then I just type them in and then I feel like, okay, this is making sense. I'm understanding this. And then I make little flashcards off of the lessons. And then it gives me little quizzes. And then I gain a little bit of understanding, a little bit of
fluency.
Yes. And then each day I just kind of move up and then I feel like I'm happy. I'm like, hey, I got an A on my test. And then I can keep moving on.
That's a smart way to do it. I think that we all have to go through a variation of that, whatever works for us. Some people like the flashcard approach. Some people want to just sit down and try and do all their stuff, or, whatever the case may be. It's really important that you are doing that. Mm-hmm. And I think that it's cool because you're modeling the fact that you don't have to spend your entire life learning PowerShell. It's okay to take your time, but just by being consistent in learning it, you're not going to slip back and unlearn things because it's been 6 months since you last typed something.
Well, and I'm the kind of person that can say, I don't understand what you're saying. I need to ask some clarifying questions because I'm feeling lost. And it doesn't bother me to say that and feel stupid. I'm okay with that. And I think that's, some people can't do that. I can totally do that.
A ton of people can't. And I think that it speaks to, because the truth is that stupid questions don't mean you're stupid. It just means a matter of time. Like the question you'd ask now that might be stupid, quote unquote, 6 months from now, you're just taking your time, learning things. You won't have that same question. So is it really stupidity or is it just lack of exposure? And I can't blame anybody for not being exposed to PowerShell. There's tons of people all over the world who don't know it. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, well, anyone can copy a script and post it in and run it. But if you actually understand the building blocks, that's a whole different thing. And that's my intent. I really want to understand what it means and be able to use it in a meaningful manner going forward. So for me, I need to understand each and every concept. So that's why I'm learning it the way that I'm learning it, i.e. the flashcards. And I even got little matching pins.
There you go. Heck yes. Now, it's so important. And I'm really trying to make sure that the spaces that I'm in, when I have chances to, that I'm making people understand that please ask the questions that you have. And I'll say it here. I've said it before. I really hope that some listeners who are more beginners are listening right now. They're learning PowerShell. But when you ask a question, you not only get your question answered so you can learn PowerShell and eventually be the type of person that can answer those questions for others, which benefits all of us, but there's also other people who have the same question. And there's also other people who are scared to death about asking a question for the first time that may be deemed silly or too dumb or whatever the case may be, because they haven't seen the realization that maybe you've come to recently, which is PowerShell's not actually genius stuff. You just got to start slow, and it kind of makes sense over time. That's it. It's not like people are born one day like, I've coded 16 modules in my sleep. No, it takes time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure.
Nothing wrong with it.
Yeah. I do have some questions for you, though. Can I ask questions?
Yeah, sure, I guess.
Okay.
Turning the script on me. Okay, I didn't plan this one. All right.
Ready?
Yeah.
How do I know what's an object versus what is a service or a process? But now I just answered that. A service and a process are both objects. So everything in PowerShell is an object.
Pretty much, yeah. Everything's an object. Just different types of objects. And like you said earlier, objects mostly have properties, which describes the object, Or so like, if it was a car, the car has a color, the car has 4 wheels, so on and so forth. There's also methods. So like you could start the car, you could start a process. Methods are things you can do, actions you can take. Properties are just
methods
things
act,
you read.
right?
Yeah,
Methods
you do
act
something.
and properties described.
Something like that, yeah.
But they're both objects.
They're both part of an object,
Oh.
right?
Okay.
So like I'm an object, technically. I'm a physical thing. There's physical parts of me, and then there's also things that I can do in my mind. That's not a great comparison, actually. But there's multiple things that can explain me as an object, right? Things that are in my head, my memories, things like that, and then physical things like he has 10 fingers for now.
But if I do get member, I can see what I can do with the objects inside of that.
Yeah, checking out the methods, and then also all the properties that exist on it, and alias properties and some other things as well. But properties and methods is a good way to think of it.
Okay.
You're taking notes?
No, I'm just trying to make it make sense because I wrote these lists. But so I wrote down get service is a commandlet, right?
Yeah.
But it's also an object.
Service is the object. Service is a type of object.
The service is an object. Okay. Because get
it's returned as an object.
Get dash service, but I can also say set dash service. So get and set are the action that I'm going to take on service, which service is an object. Object, right?
Yes.
Okay. Are operators always used to the right of the pipe or in conjunction with? So where dash object is the question.
Comparison operators can be used in where object for sure. I guess I'm asking, is the order always on the right of the pipe? Does it matter? It's an interesting phrasing of the question that I think we might need to dig into a little bit more. But yeah, it's typically after the first pipe is where you're going to be doing like where object comparisons and things like that. But as we get deeper into our PowerShell journey, you'll see there's like layers. If we wrap things into parentheses, we can have another command next to it. We can multiply the output of one by the other, and it can kind of go infinitely. And that could mean that you have the comparison somewhere else in there. So say there's this thing we'll learn later called if. If is a way to see if this condition is met, then do this other code. So like if the computer is turned on, then we can go ahead and reboot it. Okay. Or if the computer has been online for greater than 7 days, then we reboot it. And so there's no pipeline at that top part where it would just be if. But we'll get to that lesson in the future. I love where your head's at. And this stuff is confusing. What the heck is an object?
Comparison operators I shouldn't worry about for a little bit.
Yeah, I would not worry about them for a little bit. Using them within where object, it's good to know that it exists.
Okay.
The comfort with it will come over time.
Okay.
Yeah. Those are great. Filtering is just so powerful. Once you get really comfortable with it, and those comparison operators empower. Operators like comparing two things like dash GT greater than, dash LE less than or equal. I think, gosh.
So those are operators, right? The get GT, and then comparative operators just add on that concept. Add to that concept.
Comparative operator, what is that? Like dash or maybe? Dash and?
Are you quizzing me or?
I'm asking, is that what you're thinking of? I don't know all the terms exactly.
Oh, you were just saying operators. Is that the greater than?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
Than,
okay. Yeah. Sorry. Okay.
No, you're good. You're good. But I wanted to tell people this is confusing. Basically, to understand objects, you have to think of this thing that's not physical, and it has to make sense to your brain. For me, very hard to do for quite a while. It takes a lot of repetition, but eventually it just kind of makes sense. You may not be able to fully explain the whole intricacies of it all, but you'll kind of generally know they got some properties, some common ways of looking at the properties, some common ways of filtering based on the properties, and then you're golden.
Okay, variables, Andrew. I understand that variables are like memory. They hold values.
Yeah.
But how do I know where to find variables? Like, are there like a million variables? And where do you go to find out where these values are and what they represent?
Let me put this back on you. You're talking PowerShell. We're talking verb-noun, right? We got a verb and then a noun. You want to, what do you want to do? You want to get a what? A variable?
Oh, okay.
I'm just saying variable. It might exist. I don't know. We'll try it. Try it out. Let's see. Get dash variable.
Get help.
Yeah, get help, but also running get variable works as well. And that'll show some variables.
Okay.
That's one way to do it. But variables are more helpful the more advanced you go. If you're only running one line of code at a time, variables don't necessarily help you as much. If you're stringing together 3 to 4 lines of code, it can be really helpful to just have a variable that contains the output of something else. And if you don't know, if you're newer, variables are the things with a $sign before them. $, object equals get service, something like that. The output would be put into the variable.
Can you make custom variables in PowerShell, or are they just made in PowerShell?
Yeah, you can create your own right now. If you did, so we ran get variable, right? If you have that in your terminal right now, you could do $variable. So that would be, we have this variable called $variable, okay, equals get variable. So what that would do is it would run get variable and put the outputs of that into $variable. Kind of confusing when we call a variable. Those are some great questions to be having. And it's very cool to see. Let's talk about that verb-noun thing, because for me, that was a huge breakthrough to kind of see someone else experience that. Can you take me back to whenever you learned about the first time I think we did PowerShell Wednesday together? I think we kind of started iterating on that verb-noun. What was it like?
Well, I've had a couple moments where I'm like, where I put it together. And I told you the one time where I was like laying in bed going, oh, yeah, that makes sense. And it's both like amazing / horrifying. I'm not going to lie to you. One was the
like
greater
connecting
than
dots in the sleep thing. Yeah.
It's horrifying, but it's also revealing the simplicity of PowerShell actually, and how all the building blocks kind of just fit together. And by the way, I'm not saying that I understand it. Don't get me wrong. It's still kind of confusing and a little in my brain, just like nebulous, where I'm like, it's cloudy. And then all of a sudden I'll have these little moments of clarity where I'm like, oh, okay, I get it. Where I can kind of put it together, or I can almost read a script. Today I was in Discord and someone put a script and I'm like, oh my God, I can read it. And I was like, oh, that's scary, but also cool. But
Yeah. I mean, I think we were in the position where, you thought I was like kind of smart because I knew PowerShell, and I'll take a compliment like that. But then you see it in person. It's like, okay, it is actually just verb-noun. Okay. And then you're saying, you can read a script and you can identify the verb-noun, and you can identify, okay, after it, there's some parameters that change how that command works. And as time goes on, you dabble a little bit more. You'll be able to understand the other characters that you're maybe not familiar with, like that if thing. We got some other stuff, other fluff, other flow control, as it's called. But as time goes on, all that stuff starts to be the same thing that you just said. It's just like, okay, it makes sense. It's simple. Yeah. Once you understand it, it's okay if it doesn't make full sense out of the gate. It's just not supposed to make full sense because you don't have the things in your brain, but you are connecting the dots and creating that solid foundation you can keep building on time over time.
Yeah. If this, then that equals yada, yada, blah, blah, blah. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Stuff like that. As time goes on, there's a ton of value in that. If we want to create automations, right? We don't want them to always do certain things. We want to check for stuff, all that kind of thing.
One thing that really that helped me out for some reason was the, now I'm forgetting the name of it. The state one.
State.
The silent one.
Oh gosh, what was that?
CD one, where it doesn't give you a value.
Recurse? No. Out variable? No, pass through. Pass through, I think, was the one.
No,
right?
I like pass through. That gives you a value, but the like CD one is change directory one.
Yeah. Oh, alias?
No, not alias. Stage something or other. Because that's really confusing when you don't get something as you do stage changing commands. So it was helpful for me to know when I type something in, I'm not necessarily going to get a value, but that isn't an error. That doesn't mean I've messed up. And there was a variety of ones that are stage changing commands, and some of them will accept the pass through. If you type it in, it will go, okay, you didn't mess up. You're okay. Don't freak out. Because you're like, what did I do wrong? I don't know. I did something wrong. But you didn't. It's just that doesn't return a value. And CD is one of them. So I was like, okay, I'm okay.
CD. Okay. Got you. Yeah. Change directory, set location, I think would be the PowerShell.
Yes.
Set dash location. I can change it to CD. That's cool. That makes sense. I see what you're saying now. So whenever you do something like a set or something like that, if it doesn't error and doesn't output anything, that can mean it is successful. I prefer it when commands output something, which is often done on those types of commands using the dash pass through, PASSTHRU.
Yes.
Yeah, pass through, which will make it so you make the change and you output the object again, which can let you do other cool things like pipe that into something else or capture it to validate. Or if you have a log file, like you change something, well, let's also make sure that it actually shows as changed. A lot of cool stuff there.
I really liked learning that because then I was like, okay, you didn't make a mistake, because it freaked me out.
What about error messages? Let's talk about that. How do those make you feel?
Freaked out and like giving up and running away from the keyboard. And also the forward arrow. I was like, what do you want? What are you doing? And I learned that just means that I left something trailing. So learning that gave me some confidence too. Then I was like, all right, I'm not getting a red arrow. It's waiting for me to do something. I've left something out. So then I learned to just go back and be patient and look to see what I've left out. So being able to interpret those results and not get that immediate frustration was super helpful. So like I was able to go like 3 days without any red error messages, but I was getting I'm thinking, hey, you left something out. You left a bracket. So that was super helpful to be able to interpret those two things and not get so frustrated.
Yep. And those challenges, like you're seeing with brackets and with quotes and all these kinds, very common. Even if you're super advanced in PowerShell, you're still going to mess up a quote here and there, or missing an in bracket, or getting things nested. You delete the wrong thing, you can't find it. I think that stuff might get easier over time as tools improve, but it's a very human experience. And it's awesome when you don't just quit when something goes wrong like that, because you're able to come to the conclusion you did, which was, oh, whoops, just like missing a quote or missing whatever it was. Let's backspace and look at it. Maybe you 6 months ago would have just quit and just been like,
for sure,
nope, this is not for me. Move on.
Yeah. Well, and what I would do is I made a rule for myself at the very beginning is I'm never going to copy code. I was going to purposely type it out. And so what I would do is I would practice when I was doing the filter results, filter the past 10 results, doing a few. They're advanced for me. They're not advanced for you, but I would go back and change it to filter past 5, filter past 10. And I would just practice that over and over and over again, just to give myself some success and feel better about it. So I would do that like 5-10 times each day. Just practice changing that. And it's dumb, but it just made me feel more confident.
I'm glad to hear that. I want other people to embrace that to a certain degree. If you get errors out there, before you close out of the PowerShell terminal and move on and say, hey, I can't do this, read the error, take a breather. It's all good. Red doesn't mean dead. We're alive here. Read the error, take it in. You're still confused? No worries. Ask. If you are getting to the point where you're stuck and you're quitting and you're frustrated, I'm okay with you quitting at certain points. If you're frustrated, let's make this a good experience. Take a break under the one condition that whatever was stumping you, whatever was challenging, whatever you did not have your head wrapped around for whatever reason, no shame. You got to ask that online. No worries. Other people are going to struggle with that exact same thing. You can take a break, post it in the PDQ Discord. We have a new Learn PowerShell channel. Post it there. Post it if you got internal work, if you got some other resources you use. Share it. Do not allow yourself to run into these dead ends where you take nothing away from it. You do not deserve that. You deserve to learn. We are going to learn from making a crap ton of mistakes. And each time we make mistakes, we can't just stop. It is so healthy and valuable to sit like you did, Tara, like you're talking about. Just sit with the issue. It's all groovy. You'll connect some dots. And now, Tara, you've connected some dots. You're not going to get bit by the same challenge again. Maybe you will, because we all forget things here and there. But you are better for having that negative experience rather than frustrated, dejected, not making any forward progress, that kind of thing.
Yeah. One thing that I struggled with for years was it's not really obvious to me where the spaces go in the code. And that, for some reason, was a real blockade for me for a long time. And I didn't have the perseverance to sit and just keep trying it. And now I'm confident enough that I can do that. And that may seem like the dumbest thing to say ever, but that was a real issue for me. My eye just couldn't see where the space would go. And see, your eye can easily see it. And we would do that on the webcast. You'd go, there's no space there. And I go, okay, there's no space there. Now it's a lot easier for me to see there's no space there.
Yeah. And so much of this, it's like languages have patterns. As you look at this stuff more, you'll see the patterns and your brain won't have to decipher it all. You can quickly look at something and be like, okay, that's a command and parameters afterwards. And there's something fancy at the end with that one parameter or whatever. It's a variable. Your eyes don't need to process it. Like the back of your hand. It just takes time. There's
right.
Nothing special about PowerShell. It's like learning anything else. You just got to take time and enjoy the process.
It's not the end of the world if I have to backspace and correct the mistake.
Exactly. Hopefully you learn something. That's the goal. That's really what we're trying to do is learn something, but also let's not suffer. Let's make it fun. And I think that I've seen you having some fun. I know You only get to go through that journey of learning PowerShell once. I highly recommend you enjoy it, because once you get to the state where you've learned it all, it's really cool. You're happy. You have a life-changing experience in a lot of ways, but you don't get that magic of learning about the pipeline, learning about flow control, learning about all these huge wins along the way. You get a little bit less of that. So please enjoy the process. If you're suffering, don't suffer alone. There's other people who are, Tara, you're struggling at times, right? We're all struggling in different ways. It's all good. It's more fun to struggle if you're not struggling alone and feeling like you're the problem. So get engaged, get involved. No one's going to bite you. We're all friendly here. And this is the year, Tara, I've been saying it. I want people to do it. This is the year that you learn PowerShell, my friend. Everybody who's been listening to this podcast for a long time, but hasn't really dove in, well, this is the year for you, my friends. Let me know. We got PowerShell Wednesdays every single Wednesday. We got podcasts coming out every single Monday. We got the PDQ Discord popping off. What else can we be doing to help you with your PowerShell journey? Please reach out. I'm at Andrew Plotek on all socials, including Discord. You can find me in the PDQ Discord. Let me know. I am trying to tailor what I do to help the most people this year. And I want to see lives change. Tara, I'm going to keep ranting here for a minute. We'll circle back. I got to give some shout outs to some people who I have been seeing on the internet crushing it. And I am so proud to see this. And I look forward to hopefully creating a little bit more of this on the internet. So shout out to my boy, Pablo Correchel. I'm kind of guessing on the last name, but I'll have him on the podcast here in a couple of weeks. He has been sharing his PowerShell journey. He shared a post recently where he created a custom PowerShell object that queries data using getSim instance, and it outputs a PS custom object at the end. This is nothing new. This is something that's been done before many times. That's okay. That is fantastic. This post has 99 likes on it, or engagements, because people want to see you succeed. They don't want to hear about how you necessarily solve something new for the first time. That can happen. That's awesome. We're happy to see that. But there's also something so strong to see when someone shares their journey and what they're learning, where they are, without thinking they have to be perfect today. I love to see it. I'm going to keep encouraging people to do it. And whenever I do see this, Tara, I have a guarantee that this guy, Pablo, and others who are doing this, so confident that their career is going to take off, because the biggest challenge is doing that. It's sharing, it's asking questions, it's putting yourself out there. When people do it, they realize, oh, it's actually not as bad as I thought in my mind. But you probably thought it in your mind for a reason. But you got to look for those instances where people have good experiences doing it. So shout out to Pablo for doing that. He has a couple posts that have been popping off. Love, love, love to see it. I also got to shout out my boy, Andrew. Oh, I lost this post here. My boy, Andrew Harris. He has also been sharing. He did, I think it was 12 or 14 days of PowerShell from exposure to execution. He shared his lessons along the way. That's what we're looking for, people. Get out there, start sharing your things, start asking questions, get engaged, because you are not alone in learning PowerShell. A lot of the guests I have, yeah, they're experts. Yeah, they know PowerShell a lot better than you. You don't even need to learn PowerShell as good as they do. There's no huge benefit to it in your career. It may help you. It may not. We don't need everybody to be a crazy module writer. We need people to be informed users of tools like AI. You need to be able to safely use it, and there's a minimum competency required. I'm going to harp on that a lot this year, Tara. You have to be a certain level of competent to be able to do things safely, and also to be learning as you go. You don't want to have never learned any lessons from years and years of work. We're building ourselves. We're building our careers and our futures. We're not just working this one job like Don Jones was talking about. You own your career. All right, Tara. That was a rant. I love to see it though, Tara. It's the year of people learning PowerShell, including you. And you've inspired me, Tara, genuinely. Seeing you know what I know and see the truth as I see it without me having to tell you hey, I need you to react. I need you to tell me Verb-noun makes a lot of sense. I need you to fall in love with PowerShell too and start doing it whenever you can. That was all you.
Yeah, that's true. I think it's cute that I love to see the surprise behind your eyes and the joy. It's adorable. I love it.
I love this. I love seeing this for people. I've been doing this for a long time. Mm-hmm. I've seen a lot of people have their lives changed. A lot of people, their first time exposed to the community was on this podcast. And a lot of people a year after that are in a whole different place. Not just because they were sitting in a corner by themselves coding all the time. They found a support system. They put themselves out there. They found that safety of, oh, I can't ask questions now. Oh, that's really cool. You deserve that too. Everybody can have that. As long as you're not rude, you got no problems. Yeah. Everybody's very welcoming.
Well, and I'm like the last person in the world that you would ever expect to learn PowerShell, right? True, right?
I mean, only because you say you hate it beforehand, not for any other reason. You've definitely been pretty vocal that you like the GUI. Okay.
Yeah. Well, I mean, not necessarily hate it, just I like the GUI. Yeah. I mean, I knew Bash back in the day, like literally 20 years ago, but it wouldn't be my go-to thing.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm going to do it in the GUI. Why would I go do that? But yeah, I enjoy learning. I enjoy learning new concepts for sure. And once I dig into something, I'm going to dig in. That's just me as a person. But yeah, I'm going to say it again. What really surprises me is understanding these concepts really opened my mind to something else, to a deeper understanding of Windows in general, where I was like, oh man, that's what surprises me along the way.
That's amazing. I'm excited for there's just so much cool stuff in your future, especially because you have it figured out too. Like you have the success formula. Ask questions, try things. Don't get super put out whenever things don't go your way. Well, you're on a recipe for success. It's not a race. Let's remember that. So enjoy the process. Like I said, you're going to keep being here, keep growing. Sweet. But as long as you're consistent, I mean, it's just guaranteed good things will happen.
It's not like I'm going to be on a podcast where people are going to ask me questions and watch me fail live. Oh, wait, no, that is happening. That's okay. Yeah.
How have those been, the PowerShell Wednesdays, where we're like live, you're asking questions, I'm making you run commands? How's that been?
It's totally fine because you know what? I have no problem asking questions that I think most people are thinking, but they're afraid to ask. Because like you, I want to help other people learn.
Yep.
I've said that for years to Josh and you, but more so to Josh. Like, I think more people are at a lower level and they're afraid to speak up because they don't want to feel stupid. I think that's the human condition. They don't want to feel dumb and go, I don't really know what they're saying, but I'm afraid to speak up. I will say all the stupid. I will bring all the stupid forward, Andrew. I have no problem doing that.
All right. We're going to find out what's next for Tara's PowerShell journey right after this lovely ad break.
This is the PowerShell Podcast.
Hey, I'm Andrew Plough from the PowerShell Podcast. A lot of you know that I work at PDQ, but you might not know exactly what we make. In short, our tools make managing your endpoints simple, secure, and pretty damn quick. Take PDQ Connect. That's our cloud-based endpoint management platform that lets you handle your machines from anywhere. You can see which need patches and roll them out fast. You can automate routine tasks so they just happen in the background. Just set it and forget it. You can spot vulnerabilities and fix them with just a few clicks. And when that one user needs a little extra help, you've got remote desktop ready to go. If you want to make managing your environment a whole lot easier, check out the free trial at pdq.com/trial. PDQ Connect keeps things simple, secure, and pretty damn quick.
Now, back to the PowerShell Podcast.
Tara,
Yeah.
let's get into what is next for your PowerShell journey. So at the time that this goes live, there's going to be a link to a PowerShell Wednesday. And in that PowerShell Wednesday, you will have written your first script. Fingers crossed. How does that feel? Are you nervous?
Yes.
What do you think by script? Like, what does script mean to you? Because it's a loaded word a little bit.
Change the state of a computer somehow.
Okay.
I don't know.
That's fair.
Maybe.
No, I can see where you're coming from. But honestly, a script, it's just a list of commands. So like say you got one that you mentioned earlier, get process, get service, that kind of thing. Get that one command into a file and then you save it. So .ps1 file is the PowerShell file type, but it's just a text file ultimately. And then you just call that script and you can run it. So it's the entry point for writing scripts is a lot lower than you might think. Yeah, the high point, you can do crazy stuff and make it look like magic. But I think for what we're going to do on PowerShell Wednesdays, we're going to do like maybe a 3 to 5 liner, maybe a little bit longer, but we're keeping it simple because I want people to know that you don't need to be an expert 13 times over to start writing scripts and creating tools. Ultimately, you can get started with where we are quite early on.
Okay.
So that'll be exciting. I still got to think about what's the problem we're going to solve. If I could make one more piece of advice as you're going through your PowerShell journey, Tara, and maybe other people out there can follow along as well, that is use PowerShell to move around files and folders, to rename things when you need to. If you have to do something with files, try doing it with PowerShell.
Mm-hmm.
Like when you can. That's another good way to get fluency and find organic opportunities because with things being object-oriented, what you learn on one command set can be applied to a whole bunch of other things. And I'm excited for you to see that because it makes learning new things easier when you can just borrow the previous concepts that you've already internalized.
Yeah.
So that should be exciting. Tara, in a year from now, like, what's your goal for learning PowerShell? What is your boom, I've made it moment going to be? Like, what's the big goal out there?
It sounds dumb, but I want to surprise Josh.
Ooh, okay. Surprise Josh. Josh knows his stuff. Josh is pretty technical. So I think you can do it. I think you can definitely do it.
No, I didn't say I want to surpass Josh. I said I want to surprise Josh with something, anything. No, I mean, I'm not crazy. Let's not be absurd here.
He's got a lot of years putting into the PowerShell thing. I think we can definitely do some stuff. Whenever you say that, though, I'm thinking we got to troll the guy. We got to come up with some kind of script that's going to do something a little bit.
Okay, yeah,
a little bit nefarious. Convince him to run it on a test environment, of course. Of course, we do have a nice lab environment at work, so some good opportunities there. But it might be something we could do there. Play some MP3s.
I like that you just got nefarious with it. No, I just meant surprise him that, wow, she can do that. That's what.
Yeah. Oh, she could.
I like the nefarious part.
Exactly. I do too. That's how I got started. Like, it's just so much fun. I would actually use PDQ products to deploy something that would create start an MP3 player, basically. Start an MP3 file and play disco music in the background. And they'd be like, oh, what's going on?
Yeah. He loves pranks. So that would be hilarious.
He might say thanks for the pranks. You never know.
Yeah. Josh is a big prankster. He loves that goose thing. So yeah, something like that.
So who is Josh, though, for people who don't know?
So Josh is my co-host, and he's also the IT director of PDQ, and he's like a senior director, but he's hilarious. So he would find that very funny.
What is he a co-host on? I know the answer.
PDQ Live, sorry.
PDQ Live. Every Thursday. We've been doing a live stream for years. I watched it as I was learning PowerShell, like in 2018. I was watching the PDQ Live webcast. Oh, yeah. The thing I told you about the MP3 player just now, that was a blog on PDQ way back in the day.
No.
Yep.
Now, when you were watching it, was Josh intimidating to you?
No, he gave me a lot of confidence because he was very early on back then. So,
okay.
Yeah, it was cool. I mean, now looking at it, I had some confidence because he was very green. And that's what it's like for a lot of people the first time they are getting on camera and stuff. It's just like PowerShell. It's a skill you build up over time. Pretty scary initially, but it's just like anything else. PowerShell's not special. Most things in life are pretty similar in terms of what it takes to get better at them.
Right. Just like you said, it's a skill. Yeah, he's just good at like everything. So, well, not everything, but most things.
Well, I think, and I can relate to this, it's like if you are the type of person to geek out on something, to enjoy it, you're going to find yourself good at a lot of things because you just put more time into it. Because for whatever reason, you're wired that way. You find the value in it. If you're able to put a lot of time in something, you get a little proficient in it. But
well, and also,
go ahead.
Oh, sorry.
No, you.
I think, are you willing to fail? Because that's key to learning. You got to fail sometimes.
For sure. And how do we fail?
Kill you. You try. You keep trying. You get up. You dust yourself off, and you keep going. That's the learning mindset. The growth mindset is failing a few times and not letting it get you down.
Yep. That growth mindset thing you mentioned was huge for me to start taking risks because you cannot go wrong if you are okay learning from mistakes. If you can learn, you're set. Take chances, try things. Worst case, you learn something and you get better over time. Best case, it goes really well. It's a win-win no matter what. The thing that's not a win is sitting still and doing nothing. That's is challenging. So the thing that I encourage people to do when it comes from, how do we go from being frozen in place and moving forward? Well, for me, I see this a lot with people. You have to find that safety, whatever that means. That could mean like, hey, I'm not actually an idiot for not knowing this. Or it could mean like, hey, I have a safe machine to run this on and I'm learning with other people. And if Tara can do it, I can do it. That's awesome. You can feel that safety and then take risks. Yeah. But until you can get to that spot, it's going to be really challenging and it honestly kind of sucks and you'll be suffering. At least I was.
Two things. If I can do it, friggin' anyone can do it. And secondly, the growth mindset, the key indicator for success is community. And you are Mr. Community. The number one indicator for improving yourself and success to do anything, to acquire success in any new skill is having a community to back you up. For real.
Oh, I agree. It's such a human thing. It's so funny. We think that we're like not part of that. And then I talk to people all the time. I joined the community. It changed my life. It's so good. So I live in that space. So I see how it helps people.
Mm-hmm.
So it's so hard for me not to get fired up when I see people like dabbling. I'm like, take that next step. Come on. It's going to be so good for you. It's like, teaching your kids. You can't tell them exactly what to do. They got to connect the dots a little bit and see it for themselves. And that can take time, and that's okay. Everybody's journey is different.
Yeah. But you need those cheerleaders. You need those mentors to help you in those moments when you feel dumb, right? Yeah. Everyone's been there.
For sure. I mean, I definitely have as well. I have been on the total other end, being a noob, entering this community where, I was going to PowerShell Summit for the first time. These people were talking about stuff that I could not wrap my head around. So I can relate to it. You just got to find your way and believe that it can happen. Because I've seen it happen for a lot of people. Just takes time, just exposure. And anyone can make that a reality for themselves. Mm-hmm. But without community, good luck. It's going to be so much less fun, ultimately. Suffering is involved in there, but like this thing of work, we can actually get paid to solve our jobs, to build ourselves up for better future jobs, and feel good about it, connect with other people in the community. You get new friendships and things like that. Your endorphins are flying off the wall. It's just fun. You teach you give a dog a treat as they're learning, and they remember reinforce good behavior, Pavlov, whatever. Do that for yourself. Celebrate your wins with someone else. Do not be in this spot of feeling imposter syndrome all day long, and then you get wins and you don't share them with anyone, so you think that they're less than what they are. You don't have that perspective. It does not have to be like that.
No.
Oh,
it absolutely doesn't.
I see people, though, they're still shy. They hear this passion. Okay, they join the Discord. They're still shy. How do we get them over that last little bit?
Wait, are you saying the system administrators are shy? Did you just say that? What? That's brand new information. Andrew, what?
Tale as old as time.
Well,
there's a couple extroverts and people who are crushing it in that regard, but most of us struggle with that for sure.
You know what I'm going to say? You know what I'm going to say, don't you?
I have no clue. I'm curious. What?
I think a lot of it comes down to management. That's my past, management.
Yeah.
And system administrators and a lot of IT people don't want to go the management route because they themselves are very shy and they don't see themselves in that role. So then the C-suite hires out for managers. That's a big disservice to the IT community. They don't know IT. And then it's just a self-fulfilling prophecy. On and on it goes. If IT people would embolden themselves to say, hey, I can do that. I know IT. I could be a good mentor to other fellow IT people. We would have better representation in the IT field. I'm very passionate about this. I really wish more people would see themselves as management and help other people become good managers.
Good managers they have such an opportunity to make the world better. Like, it's like, as an IC, you can do some stuff and you can make, have a good relationship with your teammates, but you can't move some of the same boulders that a manager can. And managers usually have a couple of reports that they can really be invested in and build them up, which is some of my favorite part about working, is just seeing other people's growth journey.
Yeah.
So shout out to the managers. Shout out to anyone out there who's putting in time to learn these skills, though. I talk to a lot of people who are expert level, high level engineers and stuff, working for big governments and big companies all across the world. And guess what the blocker is? The challenge that they see, it's not that nobody knows PowerShell or they can't figure it out technically. It's communication. It's figuring out how to communicate this across the business. There's a big opportunity there.
They don't speak the same language as the C-suite. IT and C-suite, they don't speak the same language. And so you need a conduit between those two. And what they do, unfortunately, is they go hire, I'm not going to tell you what I call them because it's not business appropriate, but I have a term for it. They go hire the CTOs, the CIOs, whatever you're going to call it. There's some fancy business term. I hate those people. I really want the IT people to grab those positions for themselves. Get that money. Go out and get it. You have the skills. I promise you, you do. You can become that manager. Be that mentor for your team. Get your team wins. Career path for your people. You can do it. I promise you, you can do it. You might not think you can, but you can. I'll help you. You can do it.
I can see how people could feel the guilt of, I need to be X and Y technical skills before I can go on to the next position. It's not quite how it works. If you're able to understand IT at large and the different parts of it, you're pretty much set. And, background and real stuff is very helpful and intuitive, but you don't have to be able to write every single command in PowerShell from memory to be at that spot, right? So make sure we're being fair with ourselves.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. We've gone to a whole different area now of this podcast, but...
Well, I want to bring up a point about managers, because a lot of us, if you are a manager, sick. If you're not, you have an opportunity, this is really important if you want to learn PowerShell. You have to make sure your manager is bought into the vision of, hey, I'm going to work on getting my skills better so I can add more value to the business and da-da-da-da-da. That includes me spending 45 minutes a day working on PowerShell. Whatever that looks like, you have to have these conversations with your manager. And if you don't know what the heck to say, hit me up. Tara said she'd be willing to help you. Just run it by someone else to give you a little sanity check. Don't just be lost in your head thinking, is this the right thing? No, it's not. What is? And never following through with it.
Mm-hmm. I think just quick 1-second sentence. You're career pathing for yourself. Not only for yourself, but for the corporation. You always say PowerShell is automation, making yourself and the corporation more efficient. It's a skill set that you will use every day for now and forever. So it's a super easy win.
Absolutely. And Don Jones had a good part about this on the podcast we did together, and check that out if you haven't yet. But he talked about what do companies want? Better reliability, more output, more automation. These are core things. Yes, you can accomplish them with PowerShell, but ultimately these are big drivers of business, and there are other tools that could accomplish it, but you need to have the right mindset to actually implement it. And you need the history of previous successes to earn that trust and get those new opportunities. And that is something that we do control. It is our career. Your employer right now does not own your career.
No,
they own your current job and they have a lot of sway there, but not the career. That is you. And that is where this community and learning skills like this will pay you in dividends over time.
Exactly. And you know what? Mid-level, upper-level management people enjoy more than anything? Data. They freaking love it. What can PowerShell give you? Data out the yin-yang.
Yep.
That would be the selling point. That's the easy win right there. You want to know how efficient you are in closing tickets? PowerShell can tell you.
Yeah, and I think that when you are getting to a spot where you're creating some of these automations, try and figure out a way to keep track of it over time. Maybe that's a log file each time it runs, you increase a number, but that is going to give you a lot of fuel to earn you more time to develop these skills that will help your current employer, but also pave you for whatever kind of roles in the future would be most interesting to you. Or like you said earlier, Tara, just help you learn the tech stack better. Whatever you're working with, you can get a deeper understanding through PowerShell or similar tools.
Yeah. Or what problem can I solve for you, manager? What are you having? What are you struggling with currently? Like some of the things I've had issues with fighting with management are getting staffing, being staffed appropriately. Well, what kind of information could you provide to me, the manager, using PowerShell? Getting extra staffing would be one that comes to mind pretty easily. These are how many tickets I've been presented with on a weekly basis. Could you provide me some more information that I could then take to leadership that could alleviate this logjam? That would be an easy win right there.
Bingo. I got to give a shout out to somebody who shared a really cool project. You know Dylan from the YouTube chat? Dylan Meow.
Yep.
Yes. Yeah, shout out to Dylan. Dylan's been reaching out to me and we've been going back and forth with some messages. And he wrote his first script to help out another business department. Because that's the cool thing. If you earn that trust and show people internally, like, hey, I can get things done with code. I can solve problems. Well, there might be people in other departments that have problems. And by having communication, ability to talk across departments and make relationships, well, you can get opportunities like what Dylan has, which is, I don't know all the details of the reason why, but basically they have some kind of situation. They got MP3 transcripts or MP3s of a call, and he's using something to turn all of that into text so things are searchable, and he can do like language translation using some AI stuff. But he wrote that in PowerShell because he asserted himself and said, hey, there's this department over here that's doing something. I can solve that. You're an asset now.
Yep.
You are absolutely an asset across your business if you can do that. And you get confidence too. Like little swag to your step.
Exactly. Brag file. Remember we talked about that. Keep a brag file on yourself.
Yep.
Come time to get those reviews, you keep that handy.
Absolutely. That's how we got to do things, and that's why having a mentor or external people can keep you in check and remind you of these things. Nobody has a perfect perspective. We all get clouded and busy when things, turn up in life. There's always going to be those times. And having people around you to kind of keep you in check is so valuable. I personally, I don't know what I'd be doing if I didn't have some form of hey, am I crazy here? How often do I say that at work? A lot of times. Hey, can you sanity check this? I say that a lot.
Yeah.
Because I just need that extra reassurance that my brain isn't going too wild on one particular thread. It's actually based in logic and reason.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. It's always good to have someone, if it's not a mentor, a friend, a coworker, put things in check. Maybe they've done something that you haven't done. They can provide perspective for you. It's always a great thing.
Yep. And, I've mentored a lot of people over the years, especially the past few. Well, guess what? Whenever I'm mentoring these folks, I'm getting something back. It's not like a one-way mentor where like, come to Andrew. He knows all your answers. No. I know about some stuff you might be struggling with. You know about a lot of stuff that I might not know. And I value that a lot. Even just this interaction, and Tara, obviously I get a ton more out of you than this, but even just this interaction of me teaching a beginner, I am getting a ton out of that. It's not an unfair equation where like, oh, Andrew, you're so generous teaching Tara. No, it feels good. I'm learning how to teach better. I'm figuring out what people struggle with, and I get to see a very impactful process right in front of my eyes. I get to see your light bulb moments, and that is just the good chemicals in the brain, they're just popping off at each step of the way.
Well, I think I've noticed something, and correct me if I'm wrong, because I don't want to put words in your mouth, but I've noticed when I ask you some questions, you're like, interesting that she's thinking about it that way. Why is she thinking about it that way? And I've never thought about that. Am I misinterpreting that, or is that accurate?
That is true sometimes, for sure. For sure. It's been a while since I've been a beginner and struggled with those things. And I think we are all different. So we're all starting with a different base knowledge and, I learned this about Python or whatever. So there's some things I didn't consider that you've asked. That's really helpful because it's not uncommon. We are not as unique as we think we are. Like what you've seen challenges with in PowerShell, it's probably been the experience for so many other people. I just don't have that perspective. So I'm fortunate that I get to have a relationship with you where you can inform me in that way, and I can inform you in some other ways, and we're both better because of it.
I think that means it doesn't matter. That's what I think. That's okay though.
We're all in this together. I'll say that. And
so nice, Andrew.
I just see it. I guess it comes out as nice at the end of the day, but to me, it just makes sense. This is the right thing to do, not for everyone else, for all of us, for me, for you. When you do things that help others in this way while also building yourself up, that's the greatest thing in the world. And that's what we have the opportunity to do with community and open source projects and sharing scripts and talking at PowerShell Wednesdays. We have this opportunity to help ourselves learn, get more skills, do a better job, but also pave the way. I have friends that I've had now for 5 years because I got involved in the community. I'm going to work for a lot longer.
Yeah.
What's more fun, to go through an entire work career without any long-term relationships, or to go through it and see you and all your friends growing over time and being there for each other when you need to? And, it depends on how close the relationships are. But for me, it's definitely going through it together, especially with how lonely so many folks are. You don't have to be. There is an opportunity here. It can feel scary, but you can take that step.
Well, I have noticed a lot more people are speaking up in the PowerShell Learn channel, which is great.
What is the PowerShell Learn channel?
It is a channel that if you are just brand new to PowerShell, you can go in there and introduce yourself. Say, hey, this is where I am in my PowerShell journey. Maybe tell us a little bit about yourself. Even though it feels scary, it's okay. We're here.
Yep.
And people are asking questions, which I love. I'm mostly me, but that's okay. We want to hear it.
That's what it's there for, though. There's a big difference between people who've been doing PowerShell for 10 years and people who are just learning it. And I think it is, and I've heard from people that it's intimidating to try and ask a super beginner question right next to somebody who's talking about the intricacies of the abstract syntax tree and da-da-da.
Yeah.
It's hard to do that.
Of course it is, Andrew. Are you serious?
I get it. I'm glad that I have taken actions on it. So yeah, there's now a dedicated Learn PowerShell channel. It's only visible if you select that you're learning PowerShell from our roles thing, and you get access to it. And there's a lot of MVPs and really helpful people in there. Shout out to Stevie and shout out to Stephen Judd as well. So many others are super active in there. But you can go in there and it is dedicated for you. If you have a question, we create a thread, we'll answer it, we'll work with you. To be honest, if someone asks a question, I'm happy to answer it. But I would love to hop on a call or a 5-minute screen share or find someone else out there. I'm going to do this a lot this year, Tara. Find other people who need to learn PowerShell. Maybe they're working on how to use looping or for each object, whatever it is. Getting them on a PowerShell Wednesday, and let's learn together. No pressure. I don't put people on the spot and say, hey, you got to solve this all right now. I'm definitely going to be there to help people out. But if they can do that, well, you've opened up the world for yourself. You've made so many new connections. People are going to see you and cheer for you. I'm seeing that pattern so much of people putting themselves out there and then everyone getting behind them because we love to see it. We love it.
Yeah. Yeah. I love to see other people stand up and be a teacher too, because it provides them confidence.
Yeah. And, the way I teach is not going to resonate for everybody. The way I explain what an object is not going to hit for everybody. There's other people, maybe you, Tara, the way you explain it is going to resonate more with a certain audience than me. So it's really valuable to teach the same things that have been taught in the past. If it's beginner stuff that you're learning for the first time, heck yes, talk about it, share it. Doesn't matter. There's a whole help article on it. That, they want to hear your perspective. We want to cheer for you. So find that when you can.
I was actually just going to say that, Andrew. It might be a little intimidating to learn from the PowerShell podcast host.
I know.
Maybe like 17 steps down. We can learn from that person. I don't know. I'm going to throw that out there.
I know. I hear that and I see that. I see people are nervous to talk to me. I'm like, wait. You heard the nice? I'm like, nice. I'm like, you can talk to me. I like it. I genuinely love hearing from people.
You are nice, but you recognize that, right?
Yeah. It's an interesting thing to see for sure. But if you're out there, please hit me up. I have had so many folks. If you hit me up with a nice message and I can tell that you're into this thing and you're pushing yourself, you're asking informed questions where I can tell you're trying. I have a long history of seeing folks in that position thrive majorly, not just as professionals and getting MVPs and stuff like that, but like on a personal level. I'll have to get some of those folks on to talk about what it's been like. I think I'm going to have Morton on soon, who has just seen such a crazy transformation in his career in the past 13 to 14 months, going to get a new job here. And he's just embodied a lot of that. He's not been perfect. Nobody is, right? He's grown. He's gotten better over time. He's made a ton of friends. His support system is way different. It is just such an amazing thing to see. And yeah, PowerShell, I love it. But like on a human level, how could we not want to see that? It feels good.
Yeah.
So much fun. And everybody can be involved in that. You do not have to be anything. Just come as you are. And sometimes I feel like I'm the dumbest in the room at times in life. But that is not a big deal, because if I am coming across that way, well, guess what? Someone else is not dealing with that. By me being in that spot, there's somebody else who's struggling, who's getting strength from seeing me. Yeah. And I say this because like at disc golf, sometimes I'll play super bad. No worries. The other person who sucks too, they're seeing me do worse. They're having a great day. I don't need to be good at PowerShell or disc golf to be a good person. And I want everyone else out there to know that you have value, your experience, what you've learned, what you struggle with. That is so valuable. I don't care if you're the best PowerSheller or so-and-so is better than you. That is not what it's about. We're all people. We're all on different timelines, and we're all going somewhere special together, hopefully.
Well said, Andrew.
Let's give it a little plug. Discord.gg/PDQ. Join us there. Get the Learn PowerShell role. And if you are learning PowerShell this year and there are topics you are struggling with, let me know. All right. I get it if you don't want to join me live. That can be scary. Hit me up in DMs. Let me know a topic that you'd like to see us cover. Let me know what you're struggling with. And if you are, again, like I said, too shy to post something public, get started with a little DM. I'm always happy to meet new people, hear about your experience, and nudge you in the right direction when it's appropriate. Tara, I got to rant about something that I said earlier in the pod because I want people to remember it. We'll wrap up just after this. I am okay with you trying things. I'm okay with you getting to a spot where you're so frustrated that you quit. Now, let's not get so frustrated because things happen. But if you get to the spot where you're done, you don't have more energy to give, that is all right. Let's take a step back. But before you step away, we got to be posting this online somewhere. We got to be messaging our coworker who's teaching us PowerShell. We got to hit up the Learn PowerShell channel on the PDQ Discord. Whatever it is for you, you got to do it. And if you can do that this year, you'll be in a drastically different spot. You don't have to commit to anything else, not doing the podcast or all this other stuff. Just do that. Just don't miss the opportunities to learn as you're doing what you're doing. And Tara, I've said this before on the PowerShell Wednesdays, but I'm so proud of what you're doing. You're embracing so much of the stuff that I'm so passionate about, and you are opening up the door for other people. Like you're learning PowerShell, that helps you, but also you are literally paving the way for other people to follow along with you. And this is the year that people will be learning PowerShell. This is your year, everybody. Tara, you're taking them there too. They're following.
I love it.
We're here.
Let's do it.
You seen the Penguin March? That's us.
Yeah, that's us. I'd have a question really quick. What do you suggest people do when they do get so frustrated? They're just like, I give up. I can't do it. What's a simple little exercise they can do? Just keep swimming. What's that exercise for them? Do you have one?
Well, there's definitely exercises, maybe like breathing deeply, box breathing, or taking a step back. But I would say the core problem is some kind of thing related to expectations, right? You need to make sure you're setting fair expectations for yourself. You're not being rude to yourself. You are extending the same kindness to yourself that you would extend to others. Tara, if you make a mistake and are struggling with something, I'm not going to yell at you. So why would I treat myself with that same harsh way? Find that kindness inside yourself, and it's just going to be more productive if you don't associate learning with negative feelings. Right? It just doesn't work out quite so well. You can have a little frustration here and there. It's great to push through that. But if you're getting super you got to have a little bit of a support system. If you have nobody else in your life that's aware of this PowerShell journey, that's giving you support along the way, it's going to be a lot easier to fall into that. My experience from what I've seen, I don't know, everybody's different. But take a step back, take some breathers. It's always good to step away for 5 minutes. I know for me, I could do that a whole lot more. I'm really bad at just sitting on one problem for way too long. Part of me enjoys it. It's not the most productive. If I find myself getting frustrated though, I'm taking a 5-minute walk. I'm stepping outside. We're coming back with fresh eyes and we're crushing it when we get back.
Okay.
Or we're asking for help. So that didn't really give you an answer there. Hope you liked it.
No, you did. Self-love, community, be kind. Okay.
Because we have to create a system that will allow us to learn over time. Mm-hmm. This can't just be a quick little, PowerShell, exciting. I'm going to learn it all in 2 weeks.
No.
You got to have some kind of way for it to be consistent. And if it's terrible and miserable the whole time, it's going to be very hard to be consistent. Mm-hmm. With that growth mindset thing, we can do anything given enough time. Amazing things can happen if we give ourselves enough time. But if we don't have a system that allows us to put in that time, we're getting nowhere soon. So
I like it.
Boom. Well, Tara, thank you so much. I'm excited to write our first script together and for all the other exciting PowerShell Wednesdays we have this year. I think I'm going to bring in some guest teachers as well.
Ooh.
I think Don Jones says he'd be interested. I think Asmar, my friend, is going to teach you some 365 stuff maybe. I don't know. But I think we're pretty close to doing those at PowerShell Wednesday, which those are every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern, 12 p.m. Mountain. And in the evening, if you're in Europe, hello, it's PM time. Come through, say what up. Maybe join me as a guest if you'd like to, but EU people. I need more EU folks in PowerShell Wednesdays. That's for sure. What else am I supposed to say? Discord.gg/PDQ. Check us out. Check out Learning PowerShell channel. Enjoy your journey. And we're all in this together. None of us are super special. Nothing is super special about PowerShell. It's all approachable over time. Give yourself time and we can do great things together. Tara, thank you for joining me.
Thank you.
What's your favorite kind of cookie? Is it chocolate chip or sprinkle?
Chocolate chip for
chocolate chip. Interesting. Okay. Sorry, someone just messaged me saying they had cookies. So I'm getting some Girl Scout cookies delivered, so I'll let you go. But until next time, everybody, walk safe, drive safe, do whatever you're doing. Do it safely. I'm Andrew Pla at Andrew Pla Tech. That's Tara. Tara Fight. We'll see you next time.
Thanks for listening to the PowerShell Podcast. The PowerShell Podcast is a PDQ production, making device management simple, secure, and pretty damn quick.